Good morning. Happy Sunday. And happy Easter to some of y'all. I was just reflecting on these last 6 months and how crazy they have been. Literally, since November. I went on medical leave in November for 2 months and about a week. It was a much needed leave that I needed for my mental health. And it put a lot of things into perspective for me. And after my medical leave, I returned to work. And returning to work means that I don't get paid for a month. So I worked all of January and I did not get any payment. So my first paycheck after that was February 13th. So we have the whole month of January, no money, trying to figure it out, pretty much getting loans online, things that I shouldn't have done, but it's okay. Until I got a wage garnishment happening through my checks. They were trying to take, I think it was 30% of my check. And I was like, it was like a good $500 that would be taken out of my check, and it was court mandated. So I had no choice. So I was like, what the hell am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? So that's when I chose to file for bankruptcy because a consolidation wouldn't help. And I already knew that the cost of my car every month had me drowning because it was just too much. I was paying about $1,000 for my car with the car payment and the insurance. That's it. That's not including gas. That's not including any checkups or nothing. So that in itself was a lot on me. Mind you, rent. Mind you, groceries. Mind you, all the other bills, phone, Wi-Fi, everything else, subscriptions. So I had to file for bankruptcy, and filing for bankruptcy means I have to hire an attorney, and the attorney's cost is about $2,300, and then the cost to file for bankruptcy is around $300. So in total, it's about $2,600, and so there's that. It's kind of a blur because it's just been stuff back to back to back to back to back. After I didn't know that I was gonna get cut off. It's just been up. After that, trying to think, February, I got my first paycheck. I made, and I got some tax money, and I was able to make a $900 payment to the attorney, and I was like, all right, and that was at the beginning of February, and then I was able to make, I tried to make a payment to my rent, and then somehow the bank returned the amount when the money was in there. The money was in there, and it was still in there when it returned. Like, everything's just, whatever. So it returned, so the fact that it returned, property management, if your check returns, then you have to make payments by money order for the next 3 months. Mind you, I surrendered my car. I surrendered my car in December because I didn't want to have that looming over me because I had a feeling that they were just going to take it because I wasn't paying it anymore. I couldn't afford it. So yes, filed for bankruptcy, paid the attorney, tried to pay my rent, that returned. So then I had to figure that out, but I was able to get a money order and because I rented a car because I had a week of, oh my gosh, this fucking week. I was so upset. I had gotten tickets to go see the Renaissance Orchestra in New York, so I rented a car for that week because I was going to go to New York for that. I was going to go to New York for a conference for my job and to do any little things that I needed to do, such as pay the rent. So I did. I missed the orchestra. I missed it, and I was very, very upset because I was being put more responsibilities just to go. And didn't end up going, whatever. Went to the conference, great conference, so glad that I went. Then I paid my rent on that Friday, and then I returned the car. So there was that. Mind you, I didn't pay the full rent because in January, property management told me that they were charging me less than $100 since September. So September, October, November, December, I think January too, it was $500. $500 I have to retroactively pay them on top of my rent. So that's more money that I have to pay on top of my bills, on top of my home, right? So, yeah, I didn't know. So I did that. March comes along, and I don't know, continued stuff. I'm trying to think because March was I'm trying to fucking think. I don't know. I had to go look back because I was like, what the fuck happened in March? March, I got the check that I was like, perfect. This is the check that I'm going to be able to pay my attorney, pay some of my bills, and like everything was going to be like back on track. But no, because I didn't understand how bankruptcies work. I thought that once I gave the information to the attorney, that he then would go ahead and file. And then I don't know. I didn't know the details of how it worked. So I knew that was going to happen, but he hadn't filed yet. So when I got that payment, this is the dumbest shit that I did. This is the dumbest shit that I was doing before, because it's the only way that was helping me stay afloat, because I don't have, this is me. It's me doing all of this. So in order for me to have some sort of support, because my pay also went down because my caseload was slowly building up. So they started me off at like 25 cases, and I get paid by my cases. So if I get paid by my cases and I have about 25, that's part-time. That's part-time work right there. I need to have at least 40 hours, you know? So my pay had gotten down, and I was trying to like get everything together. And the issue, the mistake that I made was that I was using a lot of cash advances, because I wasn't making as much money as I was making last year. So I had to try and make up for it in some way so that I can pay bills and I can be afloat. But because of doing that, my dumbass thought that it was already in the bankruptcy and that would be taken care of. But that check that I got paid, the first check in March, the cash advances were taken. Like, they took it. They took all my money. And I was left with like, I don't even know, maybe $100 or something. Like, I was left with pretty much nothing. And so that was that. And I was like, fuck. So, mind you, with all these payments being taken out, that means that I'm short on money for the house. I'm short on money for my bills. So that's why it's been really tight with food. It's been tight with my bills. My phone got disconnected, and I ended up finding a way to make a payment. I don't even remember how. Shout out to my son's father, because he's helped me out, because I've had to ask for help, because I'm like, bro, I don't know what else to do. So shout out to him. Shout out to one of my sorority sisters, Naisha. Randomly, she just dropped $100 to me and said like it's gonna come to me in other forms. And I told her, yes, it's gonna come back tenfold, yo, because it's been crazy. So yes, so then the end of March comes. This is the second paycheck that I get, and what ends up happening? Fraud in my account happens. Yeah, $600 and something of my money was taken, and I had to pay rent. I had to pay the rent because rent was about to be due. So yeah, I've been in communication with the landlord throughout March, because I was supposed to pay earlier in February, or I was supposed to pay earlier in March, and because of the fraud, that's what it was. Stuff happened. So because of the fraud happening, I had money. My son's father gave me some money. I had money on the side, like I had cash. I had money here and on a different account, and that money, the fraud, was gonna be the other amount that was gonna complete the rent. So I told the landlord that, and I let the landlord, this property manager, whatever, because I live in these condos. Excuse me. I was in constant communication, letting her know what was going on, and I was like, I can make you a partial payment now. At one point, I was like, do you want me to do that? But I would prefer to come on another day when the fraud is, when I get the temporary credit from the dispute that I did for the fraud, because I don't want to have to make 2 trips, because I have no car, and I would have to walk somewhere, try and take a lift if I can afford it, and if I can't, then I gotta walk all the way over there. Mind you, it's like a 15-minute drive, so I would have to walk maybe an hour. So she wasn't responding, and I was like, okay, whatever. I emailed. I knew I was gonna be getting paid the end of March, so I was gonna make a payment to the rent. Like, I had every single day of March, I was thinking about this. Like, I was thinking about money every single day. I was thinking about how I'm gonna pay everything every single day, especially towards the end of March, because I was like, okay, this fraud, this credit, I'm supposed to get it, but then the credit doesn't come after 10 business days, and I didn't know that, so I had to wait on that. So I had to make a payment to rent on that with that paycheck at the last of the month. I think it was like $327 or something. And what ends up happening the day? Oh my god, bro! Like a day or two before I get paid, I got a notice to quit letter. This letter is like an eviction notice. It's the process that starts the eviction process. And I have had no idea about this. I mean, this has never fucking happened to me ever in my fucking life. So I got that, and of course I'm here. I got to the middle of my work day, I remember, and I was like, what the fuck? And I was like freaking out. There was 3 different copies. I'm like, what the fuck is this? And I'm just like, it said something about like, if you pay rent, it's not rent to like live, it's rent to, it was rent to possess or some shit. Like, rent to pretty much just be here or some shit, but it wasn't going towards the rent. So that had me freaking out, because immediately I'm like, what the fuck am I gonna do? Like, I already have plans that I'm gonna make a payment. So I'm like, all right, let me email them back and let them know, like, what the fuck? Because I've been in constant communication with you, but you haven't been replying back to me. So, like, what the fuck? So of course I'm here upset and whatever. I get paid that Friday and I'm like, all right, I gotta I gotta pay I gotta pay this rent. I gotta get this money order and I have to make my way to there. So I think, yes, I walked to the bank a mile away and then I got the money. I took a lift. I went to go drop it off. I was gonna put it in the mailbox, but then I was like, nah, let me go upstairs and speak to somebody in the office so that I can hand it to them and see what's up, because like this isn't just I'm paying my rent, you know? So I went upstairs and of course the office is locked and it says, we'll be back at whatever time. And I'm like, bro. Guy walks by and he's like, oh, you could just slide it under their door, like they'll get it later. And I was like, yeah, I don't want to do that. And I was like, this is more serious. And the guy was like, give me a minute. And he's like, I'll come right back. And I was like, okay, so whatever. I let him do that. And then he came back and then he was like, oh, follow me. And he had an office in the front. I was like, yo, this office is legit as fuck. Wait, what the fuck? So I go in there and then I look at the wall because I see a degree and I see the name on there. And I was like, that's the fucking owner of the property management. The fucking owner. And I was like, you're the owner? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, oh my God. Like, what? And then, like, he asked me what's up. I told him what was happening. And then he was like, it's okay. He's like, don't worry about it. Just make that payment when you get paid next and you'll be fine. And of course, I was bawling my eyes out because I'm like, what the fuck? Like, how does this shit happen? But thank you. I'm so grateful. I was so grateful to Universe, to Source, because I was worried about where I was living. I was worried about if I'll get my lease renewed in September. And I don't know if that's still going to be an issue, but we'll see. So anyway, that's done. So the other piece, of course, is my attorney's been wanting to get paid. And I was like, okay, so made the payment for rent. And I'm like, the credit that I'm going to get from that fraud, I'm going to make a payment to him from that. And it was about $675. So I gave him about $550 so that I can go grocery shopping. You know, everything has been like, all right, let me pay these people and then let me get groceries. Let me pay these people and let me get groceries. Like, it's just been that constantly. So since then, I've had about I had $16 in my bank account last week, and I bought, I think I bought milk and something else for the house. And then now, I think with that's when I went to New Haven to go to the dispensary because I had free bud there, and I had no money to buy weed. So I figured out how to take the Metro North to New Haven and back, and it was only $7.75, thankfully. So I did that, got my free bud, I came back, and yeah, I was here, and now I've been here, and this is the last few days until I get paid this Friday, where I will pay the rest of my rent off, and I will finally be on track. But with being on track, that means that I'm still fucking short on groceries for all. And I got denied for SNAP because I made too much money. I made too much money. Like, I understand I get paid a good amount by the hour, but working part-time is not enough money. It's not. But whatever. It is what it is. So right now I just got $5. And I need a lot of shit. I actually filled this out. But here, you can see the things that I don't have. So I need garlic, I need milk, butter, eggs, beans, mayo, oil, vinegar, salad dressing, hand soap, batteries, deodorant, cat food, because I don't have any more wet food for the cat. So now to figure out how to get through these next 5 days with the ultimate bare minimum. So now I'm here. Just trying to figure it out. It's part of the reason why I did this coaching business, this coaching program. But a part of me is feeling like it's a little too early. But I don't know. I need to make some money. Because I need stuff, Abel needs stuff. Even Abel's been thinking about making money, like helping me make money. And I feel bad. Because I can't do a lot of things. I can't do laundry. This is part of my laundry that's been there for over a week. Because I don't have money to do laundry. I can't do Abel's laundry. He's on vacation this week. And that's a stressor because that's extra money that I need for food because he's not in school and I have to make him food. He needs breakfast, lunch, dinner. So I'm honestly just praying, and honestly since yesterday I've been praying. I've just been praying, like, please, Source, Universe, God, make a way, send me something that will just help me with this week because I'm definitely worried about this week. So, yeah, happy Sunday.